podcast.
Welcome to the Forge by Design podcast. This is your host, Daniel Badillo. Thank you so much for all your support, for thinking of us on a weekly basis. With us, we have an amazing guest, kind of like a last minute blessing for our podcast. I've known him for several years now. We're going to talk about that. But he is a music genius, has a lot of style, has a lot of rhythm. His music is very contagious. Not only a music artist, but also has his own product line, his own merch. And we're going to talk about that because I've seen it. I've seen it there, and I've seen many people wearing it. And I'm pretty sure he is proud. So we're going to talk about his music, his merchandise, his dreams and aspirations. And without further ado, because this is such a blessing, Mr. Swaizy, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm doing amazing.
First of all, I want to thank you for making the time. When I saw you this weekend, I thought it was not going to happen because you're a very busy person. Typically, when you come to Augusta, it's kind of like in and out.
Uh-huh.
You know,
that's true.
He in and out. For those that don't know, he drives a Tesla. Yes, he drives a Tesla.
Calling me out.
Okay, and I won't give you his license plate number. I don't want no paparazzis out there. But you come in and out, but you're always busy. I want to say always on the grind, always hustling, which is very admirable for someone who's pursuing their dreams and aspirations. So let's dive deep into this.
Let's do it.
Oh, the first question that I have for Mr. Swaizy is, tell us a little bit about your music. How did this music come about? Well, at what age or what season in your life were you contemplating in pursuing a music career?
Well, I will say you've definitely known me for several years.
You probably,
think so? Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
I would probably say since church. Okay. When I was a kid, I grew up in a Hispanic Christian church, and I was always drawn to the music. And eventually, I fell into liking a specific type of music, which was hip hop. And then in high school specifically, I would just listen to a lot of different hip hop artists. But I would say ever since a kid, I was playing the drums as a kid. My mom put me in orchestra, so I was playing violin in elementary school.
Okay. So shout out to Davidson Fine Arts.
Yes. Shout out Davidson Fine Arts.
Just
DFA.
in case we'll pick up the royalties later.
Mm-hmm.
But so you were listening to different genres of music.
Yep.
Okay. Such as what specifically?
I love all types
of music, kind of like reggae.
Yeah, I love
pop,
reggaeton, pop, rap. In high school, I was in a funk band. Okay. So I played the drums in a funk band. So I really liked funk too, like a lot of older types of music.
So as you were weaving these music genres out, you kind of figured out that this type of music is probably something that I'm not going to evolve on. Yeah. Maybe the funk level, maybe it's a fusion. Later on, people are always mixing music. So you narrowed it down to mostly hip hop music, hip hop, rap, reggaeton music. I
would say it's just what came like most natural. Okay. And I think a lot of people are fans of a lot of different genres, but there's one that feels most natural to you, I feel like. Sure, there's people who have a hybrid of that. But for me, rap always just came naturally. So that's what I decided to start making.
Okay. Well, so when was the first time because I know that you had some like music samplers, or you wrote music, you sang music in your bedroom, right?
Yep.
Okay, and you kept it there. Who did you show your music to, and who said, you know what, you've got something there, or was it more so something more intrinsic?
I would say I had like a little notebook, and I would write my raps, and I'm sure I showed my mom. Shout out my mom, my sister, my dad. I'm sure I showed them growing up like my different types of raps. But I think what it really was in high school, we would do like fake rap beefs between me and like a couple different students.
So I'm envisioning an audience, right?
It's kind of like a rap chat.
Okay,
so we would upload it online.
Okay. So it's not like a challenge. It's not a rap challenge. Not, I mean, what's it called? A rap battle. It's not a rap battle.
We would rap battle too, and we'd freestyle at lunch and you know the basics. But when I really started writing, I mean, that was like fake beefs that we would make up just to creatively, you know, upload something on YouTube. And I would say people started telling me that they thought I was decent. I'm sure I have a couple videos.
I'm pretty sure you believed it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to believe in yourself enough.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yes.
I didn't think I was the best, but I thought that it was a passion of mine, so I wanted to pursue it.
You know, a lot of people don't understand that you have to start from literally ground zero. It's first base, right? Maybe home plate. And you have to start somewhere. You heard me say this a gazillion times that it's not even a term, but you know what I mean. That Rome was not built in a day. It's brick by brick, right? First, it's an idea, a prototype, and then you start laying lyrics down. Things don't probably align. You're trying to find your rhythm, your mojo, your identity in all this process. The same way it was with my books. You know, when I was writing, you know, I asked the Lord, guide me, direct me, you know, and then I found my voice, my own unique voice. And so in that process, really, you were being shaped, you know, into what you are today. Basically, all that hustle, all that perfecting, all that tweaking, and we're still evolving, right? We're still growing. 100%. But definitely put you in a spot where you said, you know, this is where I want to go. This is where I want to pursue. And so how while that's going, right, you have your music and you're working that process and you're working your lyrics and you're finding your identity. You have several songs that you think, you know what, this is good. Because I remember hearing some of those. I can't quote any of them now. Yeah. It's been a minute. But how did this merchandise come into play? So you're thinking about music, and suddenly now you're thinking about music and clothing.
For sure.
How did that come about?
I would say actually they happen pretty simultaneously.
Okay.
I would say honestly I first did the clothing, like trying to do the clothing professionally before I tried doing the music professionally. But as a lot of people know, especially with hip hop, fashion and the music go hand in hand. Like every major artist has
a product line of some
their
sort.
line, you know,
but it's not easy because I would figure that once they have some sort of you know, a group of people hustling or promoting the marketing, the promotion, and things like that, where you initially in this entrepreneurship spirit, riding the wave of entrepreneurship, you decided to take a leap of faith, but you had a vision to merge both. Maybe sing and you sell. Which is a great combination.
Yep.
I speak and I sell books. That's what I do.
Yeah. And you have to, I feel like a lot of artists have to juggle multiple different forms of being able to, you know, make it a living. Sure. So, especially starting out.
And who was helping you at the time, initially?
Initially, I'm not going to lie, it was a lot of Professor YouTube, I would say, for sure. I mean, I just had this spirit of wanting to learn how to do all of these things. So
Did you say Professor YouTube?
Yeah, Professor YouTube. So I'd be like, okay, I want to design my own clothing brand. So I have to figure out what programs to use. So I would search up typography tutorials on Photoshop, on YouTube, pretty much on how to do that. And then what's the best website builder? I would, you know, study that. And then I would just over time would get better and better at those skills. But it's out of the passion of wanting to do it. You're going to just over time learn the things that you need to know if you want to do it, you know?
Sure. You'll learn how to do it, basically. And I think that applies to many industries, whether it be you're an artist or you're an actor, actress, or you're wood building, you're a carpenter, plumbing, whatever it is, a lot of people that the DIY spirit, do yourself spirit comes upon, and Professor YouTube has helped a lot. I would say myself 100%. Included.
Everybody.
How would you describe your sound and your style of music back then compared to now? Is there like a night and day, or is it?
I would say so. If you listen to a lot of my old music, I mean, I don't know if the style would be considered bad versus good, but I would say that a lot of the earlier types of rap were slower and more melodic, because back in the day we listened to a lot of people who were like slower, more melodic.
Not depressing, right? Not melancholic.
No, not depressing.
Melodic, but not melancholic.
Yeah, I think ever since the beginning, my music was mainly, and now I do have a few songs that are more, slower and either romantic or, just slower in general. But yeah, I would say ever since the beginning, it was pretty happy, upbeat, even if it was like a melodic type of rap. And now it's closer to, I don't know, I do a blending of like boom bap type stuff where it's just rapping, and then like songs that get you really hype, and then still also some melodic stuff, just not as much as back in the day.
So take us through your creative process of writing a song.
Okay.
I mean, if so, you're writing a song, you're on tour, you're singing, and most likely you're picking up ideas here and there, or maybe beats that don't necessarily fit into a particular song that you're working on at the moment, but you have it in your, a Post-it note, on your dream board, on a notebook of sorts. How does a song evolve? What's your creative process to say, I think I've got something here. Let me expand and take this to fruition, complete the song.
For sure. I think there's a lot of different ways that a song can come about. I think a lot of the hardest ways to make a song is trying to make a song, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So recently what I've been doing is exploring more of like having an overarching theme. So like my project that's about to come out is one of my passions, which is cars, specifically like Japanese cars. And so that's the theme. And then from there we take, let's make a song, Nas, right? Where it's just go, go, go. Or another song where it's like Cherry Blossoms, where it's a more slower song and maybe make it more romantic. And so that's a newer style that I'm exploring. But a lot of times, honestly, and I think this happens a lot with rappers, is they'll find a beat and it's almost like the beat speaks to you in a certain way, and you'll just mumble stuff, and then you'll have a line, and that line will stick out to you, and you'll be like, okay, this is probably what I'm going to title the song, and then you go from there. So a lot of times it's literally going through the beats, and then
having a common theme, the chain of thought that brings some sort of synchronization. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
There you go.
Look, there's some reggaeton right there.
Can you hear that?
I think from your glasses, but I think it should be.
No, I put it on because I wanted to hear it. There you go.
There we go.
I'm going to take it off because I wanted to surprise him, but that's another thing. So this creative process of synchronization, creative process of unison, whatnot, and you merge it down, and suddenly you get to the studio and you say, this is the idea, this is the way that I'm going to bring it about, and it comes to pass. So now you have a completed song. How do you get it out there?
So I would say the main way of getting it out there, if you're talking just literally how to publish your music, would be there's different companies that'll do it for you, whether it's DistroKid or TuneCore. There's a whole bunch of different companies who do it. But, I mean, if you have the song made and you have that MP3 or that WAV format, you just go to these companies, you fill out the information, and you could... I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of songs uploaded every single day. That's how you literally do it.
Okay.
How you get it out there into like listeners is just by marketing it, which is, a different story.
Amazing. You know, for those that you know, are learning from this process, one of the things that I want you to get out of this is that it takes time, it takes dedication. From a leadership standpoint, you have to believe in yourself, you have to believe in your potential, you have to be consistent. And sometimes, can I be honest with you? Sometimes you're consistently bad. You know, sometimes you are trying to find your voice. You're trying to find your uniqueness, your own mojo. And at first, a lot of people quit because, you know, they say, you know what, I've been trying and trying. Nothing's coming about. So they give it probably a year, maybe so. And if because that. If that, you know, and then they throw the towel, you know, hang the gloves, throw in the towel and quit. Whereas Swaizy, you know, he learned in the trenches. He learned that, I remember that he was always trying to perfect the beat or perfect the song. He would go back to a song and add more lyrics. And I remember my son would do that as well. He just add more lyrics, or maybe there was a better hook. When you finish a song, there was a better hook. He went back and added the hook and whatnot. But there is a creative process and a creative grind, and we all start in the same way. You know, musicians start with the uploading through YouTube, uploading through these other media channels or services, and then it's all about promoting, right? It's all about sometimes word of mouth. If the song is really good, it has a real good hook, you may get an audience of 50. And probably those 50 are your family members, right? But what I'm trying to say is that you have to be consistent. One of the leadership skills that Swaizy has is consistency. The other thing is persistent, right? You have to be consistent. You have to be persistent. You have to ask for feedback. Yep. You know, there were people that say, you know, I like this, maybe I don't like that. And he mentioned that you're into the Japanese cars, right? Yep. And if you have not heard the song Nas, you have to go to YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, whatnot. But you're going to be hooked. When my son-in-law played the song, I was hooked till 3 a.m, and it was resonating in my head. I couldn't get the hook off my head. But amazingly, you were persistent. Now, with that same line of thought, how are you persistent as well with the merchandise?
Yeah, so 100%. I think a lot of people, they'll have a passion and they'll like something just enough to try it out, and then they just drop it after it, whether they get bad feedback or it just doesn't pop off immediately. But I think a lot of people who are successful with music and clothes and whatever is, you just have to literally keep going and keep believing in your own product or your own song. Because if you don't believe in it, no one else is going to believe in it for you. But going off of that, yeah, I was the kid who would go to these concerts and I would sell my clothes out the back of my car. You know what I mean? And sometimes it takes that, you know? I was selling glasses, shirts. I mean, at places where they had...
What was your best seller?
I had a shirt. One time I made this design on Photoshop. It's called the Child of God t-shirt.
Okay.
And that shirt has been copied and sold on Amazon by a few different people. And... It just resonated with a lot of people.
Did you get the royalties or you didn't get the royalties?
No, because a lot of times...
You got to pay that royalty.
I'll tell you, a lot of times, especially with clothing brands, is they'll just copy off of each other. And then, to sue a lot of things or a lot of different companies takes a lot of money. And then also that kind of gets into like, do I want to sue another person who has the same messaging as me if really I made this shirt from a place of, okay, I want to represent that I'm a child of God, and if somebody else is putting it, you know, it could morally get confusing. But so I would say my best seller was a Child of God shirt. I sold it in like at least 10 different colors. And yeah, I've seen people wear it, and my friends will take pictures in random spots of people wearing that shirt. So
I remember we had a lot of, several. I'm not saying I attended all of them, but Hispanic festival in the city of Augusta downtown, and you were there. There was a canopy, a booth, whatnot, and you had your own little table and selling and stuff. You had some very unique glasses.
Yeah, the glasses. People love the glasses.
Yeah, people love the glasses. I don't think I would ever look cool, right? Because maybe maybe an age gap or whatnot.
No,
but they were flashy. They were on point. They were the bomb back then, if that's even a term. But I remember you selling, and I was very proud of you because I knew that anybody that sees an entrepreneur, someone who's really into their craft, their music, their business, their artistry, their gift, talents, abilities, whatever your background career may be, and whether you could be a florist, if you're into that, and you are persistent and show dedication, those that are in the audience looking from the outside looking in, if you also have that entrepreneur spirit, you can admire that person, right? 100%. You can support that person, and of course, buy their merch, buy their music. So, what message or identity are you trying to express through your music? When people listen to Swaizy, right? And I know you've gone through different seasons because you've been at it for 5 to 7 years more so. People seeing the BC, or not the BC, but the before Swaizy and its genesis and its beginning, that first, second, third year, and then 7 years later, here you are. So when I hear your music, when someone hears your music, what is it that you want them to feel?
Yeah, I would say take it on a case-to-case basis. Every song is different. Overall, the music is a reflection of my life, and obviously I go through different phases of life. But I would hope that people, especially over the past 5 to 7 years, see improvements on the complexity of the lyrics, the lyricism, overall quality, whether that's the production or the vocals or everything. But I mean, case to case basis depending on the song. But overall, I would say I'm a pretty happy person, upbeat person, energetic person, and I would hope that my music conveys the exact same thing.
I know his music has been amazingly impactful. I think I saw Lecrae comment on your talents, your abilities, your unique style of music. Again, someone to look out for, to look into your music. You have also opened for Andy Mineo, is that correct? In Texas. So hey, shout out to Andy Mineo. If you are going to see this podcast in Lecrae. I know he's been opening for a few other artists, and so that's been amazing. Just simply opening. 100%. That's how you start. I mean, you're opening for a new artist, other prominent artists that have been decades in the industry are noticing your talents, your abilities, that massive potential that you have. What has been the most exciting time where you opened for someone like Andy Mineo? I mean, what were you feeling? That your adrenaline has to be off the charts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you're singing here and there, maybe different venues, medium, small, medium, and then boom. They put you on a stage, maybe there were 5,000 people before you. And with us, Swaizy is going to, not necessarily open it, but they announce your name. You get on the stage. I think if I had a mic, my mic would have been, like shaking,
Yeah.
Maybe, I did offer him one time if he ever needed someone to be a background.
You'll be background dancing at some point.
I think I'll be background of the background, and my mic would be off. I mean, that's part of the contract. But
we'll have you breakdancing in the back.
No, that's never going to happen. Going to happen.
We'll see. 15,000 no.
Well, put it out there.
Hey. You never know.
If I can go in saying coffee drop of the week.
Yeah.
I was like, what does that mean? As they go to my channel. But how is that adrenaline? How do you manage those emotions? Because those are dreams becoming reality.
100%.
How do you manage that?
I think honestly, it depends on the person. But for me, I enter a flow state. I just don't know.
What does that mean?
It's like it's almost like you have so much adrenaline that you feel like you're going to war. So you just know that you have to, whether that's perform or there's going to be thousands of people in front of you, you have to kind of just be in a different mind state, if that makes sense. And also another shout out to Davidson Fine Arts. They at this point owe us a couple $1,000, right? I did drama for a long time, and I'm not saying it's 1-to-1, because being on stage while you're acting as a different person and showing your own artistry are two completely different things, and they feel completely different. I'll say that helped a lot, going to a school where you were performing, being in front of people, that definitely already helped, especially starting
before
from a young
strangers.
age.
Somebody told me that, that how long have I been public speaking? Because sometimes they don't know who I am, and I can be, whether it be a church setting or a professional setting, at a college setting. And a couple of months ago, I was in a professional setting, and people, even adults, have kind of like stage fright, right? They have poor public speaking skills, and they get nervous, whatnot. But I think Davidson Fine Arts provided the opportunity that, even though they were parents, right, they're still strangers, right? And you you're graded on your performance, on your acting, on your singing, on your presentation. And so at least that helped you, overcome that's maybe stage fright, if you ever had it.
Yeah. And like I said, it's completely different. I thought it was going to be, the first time I performed my own song was in Atlanta, probably in front of
Which was the title of the song?
It was called, I believe Google Drive. No, it was Front View. Front View for sure.
Is it still on YouTube?
It is.
Okay.
Don't search it up. No, it's bad. No, I mean, some people like it. Okay. Some people like it.
Well, I'm talking about, this is a couple of years, right? It's just not, the new stuff.
Probably but 2019.
All right, so I'm going to throw it out there. Front View. If you're able to look it up through to the internet, send us a message. Send me the link. I want to see it too.
Yeah. So
hear it too.
It was Front View in Atlanta, and there was probably 300 people there. And I was like, oh, I mean, I've performed in front of 2,000 people or whatever in a school on stage. This should be easy. It was probably the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done. Because it's you. Like, people aren't, when they're looking at an actor on a stage, you are not portraying yourself. Sure. You know what I mean? But when it's your own music, your own clothing, or whatever that is, it's a reflection of you, and people are directly judging you based off your performance. So it felt completely different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many times have you opened for other major artists?
I don't even know, to be honest. I mean, it's been probably a couple times a year, every year.
You're touring different states.
Yeah.
So what's the furthest state you've been? Let's say New York or California.
I performed in Canada before.
You've performed in Canada?
Yeah,
before?
in Canada.
Wow. Okay.
In Ottawa.
Shout
out Ottawa.
All right,
I
Canada.
like Canada.
So Swaizy made it to Canada. And of course, what other states? I know obviously Georgia, Texas,
Milwaukee. I've been to Milwaukee.
Kansas, and you went up there?
I don't think so.
The Carolinas, South Carolina, Florida.
There's been a lot of one-off shows where I'm not even gonna lie, I don't even remember the states, but I could remember like the venues. But mainly where I perform is Texas.
Okay.
Obviously here in Georgia,
that's your home
Atlanta.
base. Texas is the home base, whatnot. Mm-hmm. You were in Tennessee.
Yep.
Are in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Okay. Franklin.
Yep.
Is it Franklin?
Well, I just recently moved, but now I just live in actual Nashville. But
okay, Nashville.
Yeah.
I know it's that's the music mecca. Everybody that wants to make it. I think my brother Eli sang in there as well. They were having a music festival, and he brought his music, whatnot. I have never sang there. I have been there. Great restaurants. I think
very good food.
I think I was there in business from my job, and a lot of art. It's like New York. If you make it in New York, you make it anywhere. Like that's how the song goes.
Yeah.
But it's such a
like
rich
the LA.
place.
It's like the LA of musicians.
All right.
You know what I mean?
So I've seen people outside in public. I'm not sure if that's the law, but they're out there with the guitar and they're starting to sing stuff. Have you ever sang in public like that, or
yeah? I mean, I
picked a corner and blasted the speaker, or
not a corner. It's more of like doing a lot of public performances for videos.
Sure.
And then I've done like an open mic one time.
Oh, really? How did that go?
that was a very interesting experience because it wasn't the genre of people that would typically like rap music.
Right.
But they seemed to have fun, and it was a cool experience. So
I think those states like New York, like like Tennessee and many others, California, where they know, it's like the entire state knows, or that people that go there are trying to make it.
Yep.
Have a different style, bring a different flavor, and they're not to bash people down, but they're to support. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming these guys were there, just supporting. Maybe not their genre, maybe not what they expected, but they were not going to, throw a tomato at you, so to speak, right?
Yep.
So that's awesome. So one of the things that I've always wondered about, artists is about branding, right? How do you put a photo on an album, back then it was a CD, now it's more, everything's media, your Instagram, Facebook, branding is so important. I'm learning that as well, right? When people go to my website initially, I was all over the place, where my website and my Instagram is like, what do I identify as? There's no continuation. One day I'm an author, and then I'm hitting music, and one day I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm all over the place. Then I introduce the coffee drops, and now I'm doing podcasts. So branding is very important because they want to see a consistency of an image, right? So how do you manage that when people look at your social media, look at your Instagrams? You have a TikTok account as well. How do you manage branding? Do you have a group that helps you with that?
No, I've been, ever since the beginning, probably to a fault, I've been wanting to be in charge of practically everything. So when it comes to literally every single step of the process of everything, if I need somebody to do it for me, I'll get them to do it. But if I could do it myself, I'll 100% do it myself. But branding is extremely important. It's one of the most important things when it comes to anything, your business, music, whatever.
What have you learned from that as a leader? What have you learned about branding and the importance of it? What about if I'm an artist, I'm into music, I have good music, but I have zero branding. What would you advise someone who's in that position as we speak?
I would say find something that is maybe niche or could stand out, but is also the main thing that I think it should be is authentic.
That's key. That's key.
It has to be authentic. I think a lot of people, especially nowadays, are getting way better at just seeing if something's a gimmick or whatever. For me, I like wearing bright colors. I like these weird hats. I like weird sunglasses, weird stuff. That's authentically...
I would have never known.
Yeah, that's authentically me. Like, there will be people roasting me on the hats or whatever, but I just
I'm going to throw
that.
you out there. There's some videos that Mr. Swaizy has... if you're looking at me here, there's been some videos that Mr. Swaizy has this hat. Colorful, maybe is it yellow? Is it pink? I don't know.
I have every single color.
Every single color. And you would have to pay me to wear it. But I said, that's him. That's the style. You're vibrant, energetic. The fusion between ocean and tropical, and you bring that vibe, and your merch, your style, your branding goes along with that, right? It's that's one of the hardest things, because sometimes a person in my position where you're trying to be a conference speaker, right? Maybe a podcaster. Well, my image can really deter people from the product that I'm trying to sell, right?
Yep.
So I'm navigating that road as we speak to try to find that image in both the podcasting and the conference speaking and whatnot, so they can see a consistency. But I love what you said about being authentic, because you cannot copycat somebody else just because it's working for a company. Maybe it's working for a group, several artists. Doesn't mean it's going to resonate with you. It doesn't mean that people are going to associate you with that specific style. Yeah. So you have to find your own niche. Again, we said as leaders, you have to find your own voice. And I think a lot of people have said that when they read my books, they can almost envision me speaking it. Like, yeah, that's what Daniel would say. I can see him with his mannerisms or, expressing himself in that way, especially in a very proper Spanish, right? No slang, no nuances, just very proper, very business, very to the point, very professional, very in-depth. I like to dig deep into the narrative of the passage and whatnot. So branding is key for anybody that wants to be successful, but they have to be genuine.
Yes, 100%.
Going back to the merchandise, so what have you learned about entrepreneurship, about running a business and running your own merchandise line? I mean, what have you learned through that? Because you're still selling your merch, right?
Yep.
Have you gone from one theme, like you said, you have a theme, like right now your music is Japan, cars, almost like Fast and the Furious type thing.
Yep.
And if again, that song Nas, I almost can see it as part of a Fast and the Furious, credits, whether it be the beginning, in the middle, or end. It's got to be in one of those. So if you have not heard it, here I am promoting that song because it almost can be part of a movie. When I was hearing that song,
that's what we were envisioning.
Yeah,
too,
I was like, oh my God, this can be part of Fast and the Furious or some what is it? X. There was another movie that has to do with cars as well. I can't remember. They instead of a road, it has kind of like a dirt road in the Coliseum, or anyways, I'll figure it out later. It'll come to mind.
I think I know what you're talking about.
But so you have a theme for the music, cars, fast cars, whatnot. Do you have also a theme for your merchandise?
100%. I think within merchandise, just like I would say, I've had drops where it was a specific theme around it, and then just like with music, there'll be a specific theme around an EP. I would say it's the same thing. You're branding an idea and then going off into different ideas within that idea.
Sure. You wear your merch in your videos?
A lot of times,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
A lot of times, like the hats are now, I sell those under my clothing brand.
Okay.
So
nice.
Yeah.
How do fans influence your music? There might be some artists that say, no, fans, we just make the music and they adjust.
Yep.
Or do you listen to what the fans are asking for? What they're, if you're in an audience, giving a concert and they are, dancing more or feeling more one song than the other, then you say, you know what, I'm going to make more songs maybe in this genre, whatnot. Have fans influenced you in your music in that way, or how do you listen to their feedback, or how do you capture their feedback?
For sure, I think it depends on the scenario. Again, I will adjust my music, like my set list, according to what I think people will like more in certain places. When it comes to making music, though, I think the main thing is, again, being authentically yourself, and you have to enjoy the process first. So if you're not putting your own interests, your own ideas, and who you are into your own art, then if you're just going purely based off of what resonates with other people, I think a lot of your own art is going to fall short, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So I think you have to go first with what God gave you, which is your ideas,
sure,
and whatever is coming to you naturally. And then from there, depending on what scenario it is, whether it's you're going to make a set list for a concert or you're going to make a specific clothing drop, then you could kind of take that input. But I think, honestly, since the start, it's been mainly, be authentically me. And then if people resonate with it, they resonate with it. And
sure,
if they don't, that's fine.
Well, you find your audience. You're finding, within the millions of people, right? Not everybody likes a specific genre of music, right? The same thing with clothing. Not everybody likes a specific type of clothing, right? Sometimes I've gone to a clothing store and I'm like, this is not me. This is more like youthful. A lot of people, you got to wear this and you got to be this and I'm like, there's a limit. Everybody has a limit.
Yep.
But your clothing is, I think, youth oriented, young adults, people, that it has a very unique style to it, and that's really good because people that love that style are definitely going to resonate with it. Now, one of the questions that I always ask, and if you could be honest, is what has been one of your, I won't call it failures, but what has been one of your downfalls where you definitely learned a lesson from, whether it be musically or in your merchandise, that you said, you know what, I'm not ever going to do that again?
Failures. Yeah, I would say a lot of it goes and just comes down to like disappointing people, if that makes sense. Okay. A lot of my family has supported me. Like my sister helps me with this other brand that I have that's also like a faith-based but female-oriented brand that I have. And my dad...
I didn't know that. Yeah. So Ali, if you're listening to this, you have to send me the royalties.
Yeah. And my dad has supported me with, clothing. Even like I remember the beginning when I was like, Dad, I have this idea. I don't have a lot of money. You don't have to get me. I remember I was like, you don't have to get me a birthday present or a Christmas present for 2 years if you give me $300 for me to start this clothing brand.
Man, you sound like my son, but he would never give him back though. But it was well worth it. He has a lot of talent.
Yeah. So I would say a lot of the failures is more of disappointing people when you have expectations and it doesn't fully,
Well, to you, right? You gauge yourself because we're overly critical of ourselves, right? We are our worst critic, right? Yep. And that's one of the things when I started this podcast or the books. And believe me, a lot of people will approach me and grab me by the ear, tell me 2 or 3 things, saying, when are you going to start? You have the potential or XYZ. And you always want things to be perfect, right? You always at least have a good, a good representation of whether it be clothing, music, literature, whatever your business niche is. You always want to, present the best of yourselves. And 100%. I think when I started to give myself permission to fail, when I said, you know what, I'm going to do this, and I have to prepare myself mentally in prayer, meditation, saying, and in the process, I'm going to fail. Somehow, some way, I'm going to disappoint people, because people are always going to be disappointed. You're never going to, satisfy people 100% of the time, 100%. Right? Whether it be music or whatever it is. But when I allowed myself to fail and learn in the process, and I always say this about John C. Maxwell in his book, that sometimes you fail, sometimes you learn, sometimes you win. Sometimes you win, and then sometimes you learn. So there's never a failure. There's always a lesson in that process. So sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And when I shifted that mindset, and I knew that I was going to fall short of my expectations, whether it be I didn't have the best mic or didn't have the best lighting. And if you see my past videos and the coffee drops, man, I was going everywhere in the CSRA trying to find a little place where no cars were passing by so I won't get that background noise. But always somebody's dog in the neighborhood was barking, a car was passing, whatnot. But that's so good. I also love the fact that you mentioned family unit, that your father believed in yourself, your mother believed in yourself, your sister. I've always known you to have that circle of cousins and family members that have been very, very supportive. That's very, very important.
Extremely important.
It's extremely important. Now, for me, it's I have my brothers, friends, whatnot, that have always seen me on the nerdy side. Because I remember way back in the day, I don't want to extend this too much, but we were always talking about a business model. Remember that? And I brought you in here. What is going to be your revenue streams? How are you going to fund this dream and aspiration? What is it that you do? The what, when, where, how, whom. And you have to have those really defined, and they have to be very fluid, and they have to be very malleable. They have to be flexible in the process. You're always going to change your kind of like your vision statement and your mission statement. Yep. There's always going to be flexibility. So Swaizy learned how to make those adjustments. Learn that as a leader, you're going to have to tap deep into that creative side and learn that. Again, you're not going to meet everybody's expectations, but you cannot give up. If you really want this, if you really want to be successful at it, like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not like an overnight sensation. TikTok with a person doing something foolish suddenly got 12 million views, and you know what, that frustrates me because not that I'm against what they do. It's that sometimes they do something foolish, right? They fall, they do something happens to them, and instantly, overnight, 12 million views.
Yep.
And you're hustling, and you're like, wait a minute, my podcast doesn't have 12 million views.
Well, here's the thing to think about that, especially with music. We'll have people who will blow up off of some music that's literally as a joke, like literally made as a joke.
Oh, yes. But I can name a few, but I don't want to get sued.
But a thing to think about is that those people might get that huge boost of viewers. A lot of it's going to be hate, obviously, but that's not going to translate into a long-term career most times.
Sure.
Like 99% of the time, that's not going to translate. So I think personally building an audience slowly until you get that one song to do really well or whatever is honestly the way to go versus doing some sort of gimmick that's going to give you a whole bunch of views and then you have no career.
All your songs are on YouTube.
Yep.
Spotify.
Yep.
Apple Podcasts.
Yep.
Where else?
Apple.
Apple.
I don't know. There's a lot. There's
and when
Deezer,
for those, because I've seen some different pronunciations or spelling of your name. So if for those that are, I'm going to put this on the bio, because he's gonna in the bio section, the comment section. But right now it's SWAIZY. And then the catchphrase to remember it, bringing both the clothes and the music, is SWAIZY DOC till I die, which is the Divine Outcast clothing. Okay, so Divine Outcast clothing.
Or collective.
Or collective. So. All this information is going to be in the bio section. Not only that, the links to his channel, to his merch and all that, because Swaizy is phenomenal. So what does the future look like for you as we wrap this up? What is are you working on some songs now? Touring?
I'm working on finishing the project, which is the car project. So it's almost done.
So how many songs are going to be in that project with that?
It's
with
5.
That theme?
It's an EP.
Okay.
So there's 3 that are already out, and then 2 that haven't been released yet. So that's going to drop pretty soon, probably by the end of April. And then I also started another business, which is...
So this is number 3.
This is number 3, yep.
Okay.
Which is taking a lot of my time as well. That ties into my
you don't want to say what that is yet?
No, yeah, I mean, I'll say it's Swole Dough, so swoledough.com. It's a protein cookie dough.
Okay,
ties in with the fitness story that I had, but so that's probably next for me. That's
another thing. If you've seen his past videos and seen the Swaizy with, can I say how many pounds you've lost?
Yeah, of course.
I think there was 175.
Yeah, so I started at 325.
So that's another person. Yeah. So this Swaizy was a little bigger.
Yeah,
and
a lot a bit bigger for sure.
But man, every photo that we see, and we've seen your transformation. Not only is it jaw dropping, but we are so amazingly happy for you because, the way you've progressed, the way you've been disciplined, not only in your music, not only in your merchandise, but also in fitness, which is very, very extremely important, especially for an artist. Yep. You see the before and after. So if he was able to do it, I recommend the cookie dough. Yep.
100%.
So I'm going to get some freebies. So I'm going to be the one
first jar on me.
I was going to ask for that sampler, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, wait, you've asked for 20 samplers, man. You're going to buy something?
No, I'm going to have a limit for you.
Awesome. So 7 years doing music, opening up for artists, working on your merchandise, continuing to record, continue to promote your music, still at it. That's definitely worth admiring. I love the fact that your merchandise is Christ-centric. Yep. Bringing a message and an identity. I think I always say, that's the hook to everything that we do. To have a solid foundation and to have our faith in our Maker, which is amazingly again Christ-centered. When things go a little stall, we know who to put our faith in. And we know that when we call, he answers.
Yep.
So for those new artists that are out there looking at us, looking at this podcast, what would you advise someone who was in high school where you were initially starting? What would you advise that Swaizy starting off, just starting off in music, and for all the lessons learned that you have had throughout the years, what is something that you can infuse in their lives so they can have an upper hand?
I would say you have to for sure be your biggest fan. You have to believe in yourself. Like, genuinely believe in yourself to the point where you seem crazy to everybody else. Just know that it might not happen overnight. 99.9% of the time, it's not going to happen overnight. Most people, also 99.9% of the people who try doing what your passion is are going to quit before, they see any semblance of success. Sure. So you have to be crazy enough and believe in yourself enough to not quit ever. Amazing advice. Obviously, when you start out, just like when I started out, my music I don't think was the best. Some people liked it, and there'll be people who like your product or your company or whatever, and there'll be people who don't. But again, you have to actually be delusional for your own art. And
that's some great advice.
So, just know most people are going to quit. Be the person who's not. And just keep going, keep believing in yourself. I know it sounds cliche, but a lot of times cliches are true, which is just literally believe in yourself and do not quit.
Absolutely. And never limit your spirit of creativity. Mm-hmm. Never limit yourself about, those dreams and aspirations that come to your mind. There are people that just spend their life daydreaming, right? I have a podcast called The Power of Determination, and just people that have ideas but never manifested
do anything.
Yeah. I mean, have songs, have beats, and never wrote them, never recorded them. Had books in their spirit, never manifested them. So it's you have to. I love the fact you said sometimes you got to be crazy and delusional and persistent, but with time, people align. Yeah. And you said, "Wait a minute."
And you seem a lot less crazy.
Once things start working out, and then they'll show up in your concert saying, "I always knew." Mm-hmm. They're like, "No, you didn't know.
No, you didn't know.
You know." So if there are people out there that are wanting to see Swaizy quit, don't hold your breath.
Oh yeah,
because this man is so creative, so passionate about his music, about his messaging, about his clothing line, about his fitness. I've seen him time and time again, and I've known him for many, many years. And what an inspiration, and to see you that at least some of these business modeling applications that we talked about initially, you have taken it to heart.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about different revenue streams, right? You have the music revenue stream, you have the merch, and now you have the food product line, the cookie dough, whatnot. Likewise, we're always trying to find different ways, and God always gives us witty inventions, creative ideas, are always wanting us to expand ourselves to the limit, to see what we're capable of. Yep. And I think this is just the beginning for you. I know you have the music, you have the all these other businesses, but why not acting? Mm-hmm. Why not XYZ? You never know, right? You never know until somebody sees you and sees you as the perfect fit for a role. Mm-hmm. And then instead of just having your song on a movie, you're part of the movie, right? And I still want my royalties, all right?
Sounds good.
I say that to Ali as well.
Yep.
So this has been an amazing treat for those that have tuned in. This won't be the last time that we have Swaizy here. We're going to put all his information on the bio section, on the comment section. It has been an amazing blessing, almost a last minute thing. I think the treat was for me. The blessing was for me that he was finally in town and he had the time to come into the Forged by Design podcast and have a sit down with us. And as you evolve and progress and have this new material, believe me, I'm going to have a whole new set of questions for you.
Sounds
and
good.
Because we already established the after, right? Now we're in the grit of things.
Yep.
but I'm so excited for the future of what is to hold for you. So this has been Daniel Badijo, Forged by Design. I will see you on the next episode. May you have a blessed week. And this podcast is going to be uploaded soon, so I'll be announcing it through all our social media channels about Swaizy, his music, his businesses, and his new entrepreneurship on the cookie dough. I'm excited to share this, and I will see you next week. See you then.